morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, August 2. It's been, man, I was going to wake up early today, but I was too sore. And I just think I think I fell asleep without even setting my alarm, and so that was the issue. That was just, that's on me. And I do have a huge blister on my foot from running 3 miles yesterday, and I'm getting them in the same spot, and it's in the middle of the arch, and that actually is where the orthotic that I have rubs against my foot, I've noticed. So I do have my new orthotics that my podiatrist made for me, but I gotta find a way to fix them, because the rubber sole part of it's longer than it on top of the orthotic, so I gotta shorten that. Easy fix. But anyway, yesterday was a fun day at work. I was told that it would not be a normal day. I'm usually the computer guy. I'm the guy that does the programs. I type, I do reports, I do standard operating procedures, I do policies, I do all that stuff. Not fun for a lot of people. For me, it's a way for me to be creative. That's how I get my creative side out, is by writing and creating. So yesterday, and actually the last 2 days, the first day I got a chance to go out with the John Deere and tear up some flooring on the side of the barn that we're going to be getting the whole thing restored and repaired. But the only thing is, we didn't want to pay for the demolition. We just figured we'd give ourselves a job for the week and do it ourselves, which is what we did. Yesterday was a day of using saws and sledgehammers and just ripping old boards out. And the thing was, when we're ripping the boards out, it caused, because you're losing the floor, which is like the most solid part of a barn. It's even more solid than the roof. So the floor was getting ripped out, and this deteriorating wall, which is why we want to restore or just either replace or repair the entire ceiling portion and some of the upper corners of the walls, that was falling in on me. And so we also had somebody who didn't properly handle wood that had nails in it and went through their glove into their hand, so they had to go to L&I. It's just a lot of, and that was the thing. We had to use, we have the proper equipment. They just misused it. So, like I said, it was fun, man. It was, I was out there, I did my lunchtime workout, took a shower, and then I went out there and did all that, and I was sweating even more doing that. So I was just drenched the entire afternoon, which is fine by me, but it was a great workout. Got that done, and I just woke up this morning, and I am just sore, really sore. But it's that good kind of sore that, that, hey, I really put in work yesterday, I feel good, I'm going to laugh about it and just get through it. It's better than the other kind where it's like, I hurt for no reason, I had no idea why I'm hurting, I'm getting old. It's never that. It's always, I know what happened, I know I probably should expect that, and that, I know what I did. It was a good thing. So yeah, so looking this, the next hike that I want to do, I've kind of put it on my radar, and it's Spray Park in Mount Rainier National Park. I've wanted to do Spray Park ever since I've seen a lot of the trip reports on Washington Trails Association, which is probably the best website I have ever used for any hiking. But then again, you only really look at hiking in the state you live in, and I've hiked in, Arizona, Utah, Hawaii, and Montana, and I haven't hiked in Oregon or Idaho yet. I've hiked in California too, but I mean, the best website for hiking in Washington State by far, Washington Trails Association. It is the greatest website I have used. I love it. I finally just became a member this year. I never really did, because I didn't really see the benefit to it, but after getting all my finances situated and everything like that, it's like, I use this website, I benefit from it. It's a tremendous tool. They're a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and all they do is provide, information for fellow hikers and outdoorsmen to get information and share ideas about trails and the outdoors with each other. And they also do, one of the things I've wanted to do with them is do the trail repair groups that go out there, the crews, and fix things up and take a day out of my life to help out and fix a trail up. They do a lot of great things, and so being a part of that group being a member in that club is makes me feel good, because it's one of those things that I truly think that is necessary for here, and they do a great thing with what they have. And I know what it's like to work for a nonprofit too, so I respect them. But so then I've been looking at reviews and trail reports on this thing, and a lot of photographers have used this trail to take a lot of great photos of Spray Park, just because of the fact it was a late snow season, or it was a busy snow season, so it's a late, the snow's melting later in the season, and it's going to be, I just have seen the pictures from this area, and it's a beautiful field. You have great flower fields full of lupins and a number of other flowers with Mount Rainier in the background. It just looks like the beautiful backdrop for wonderful photography, and I want to get out there and take some shots. But it is sort of a longer hike, so it's not one of those ones I can wake up at 3 a.m. do and then leave. I might actually have to kind of throw that out there, maybe camp for a night, wake up in the morning on a sunset and head out early, and then take photos on the way out and then get home. Or it's one of those ones I'm just going to have to go out there really early and wait for the magic moment where anyone who does camera work knows that taking pictures when the sun's over you like this, it provides basic shots, and it's not the most exciting lighting you can get. The best kind of lighting comes from what they call the magic hour, which is anywhere around 4, 5, 6. Is when the sun's at an angle and it gets behind objects and creates rays of light. And in the morning time, you get sort of that same effect, and it's anywhere between, like right now would be, so about 7:30 would be perfect for magic hour, because you get the sun coming up behind certain items, and so I get bursts of light coming through trees and branches and flowers and trees and things of that nature, and I you get that. Also the blades of grass. I love the blades of grass with the drop of dew on the tip. If you can get that in the sunlight, those are some of my favorite shots. I love that shot. So Spray Park is the trail I want to do next. I really want to get obsessed with hiking again. It was, being a first-time father, you just don't want to miss anything with your kid. You want to be there for everything. You want to help out as much as possible, and you're willing to sacrifice, the things you love and you normally would do on the weekends to spend time with them. And so I've done that. She's now older and more self-sufficient. She's not quite 2 yet, but I just feel like it's time for me to kind of start gradually getting back into hiking as often as I used to. I used to hike over, 10 to 25 times a summer, and now I've only gotten in 2. I'll be getting in my 3rd hike here in a couple of weeks. So I'm making a mandatory hike for my staff. They don't have to hike, but they have to go, and that's going to be on the 16th, which is a Wednesday, and we're going to be doing Fremont Lookout in Mount Rainier National Park. So that'll be a nice little hike to kind of show some people. The thing I want to kind of connect with people on that is, the fact I had one person, I said, show of hands, out of 18, 19 of you, how many of you don't already know that you're not going to hike? And there's one person who raised their hand. I just don't like walking. And I said to her, I didn't either. There's a time where I couldn't really walk either. Or at least walk physically because of my surgery. But I just wanted to show these guys that there's something else out there, that, you don't have cell phone reception. It's great. And, you might end up liking it and falling in love with it the way that I did. I just want to show them the outdoors, and the fact that people just need to learn how to disconnect once in a while, to think and to be on their own and to clear their mind and only have to worry about getting from point A to point B and then getting home. Yeah, that's one of the things about being in the outdoors is, and especially if you're camping, or if you're forced to put yourself into survival mode, the only thing that you worry about is like heat, keeping yourself warm, finding food, and shelter, food, and being safe. And when that's all you have to think about, everything else becomes non-important. You know, it's whether it's what's happening on Facebook, what's on social media, what's on YouTube, what's going on in sports, your favorite sports team. None of that matters at all. The only thing that matters is you taking care of yourself to get home to your family. And I think that's the thing about the outdoors. It's in its rawest form, it's all about, just for me, it's mental therapy. It's very therapeutic. It clears your mind. It makes you just feel connected to something other than something with a battery, and you become one. You feel just like you could even, it's sort of like a time machine in a way. You feel like you're part of, you know, if you're like being Native American, that like I am, or the people that I work with, you know, it's kind of tying with your ancestors and how they used to get around and not having to worry about their phones or anything. It was all about just survival and being one with the environment. And with me, it's a huge issue. You know, it's a really important thing to me. Being outdoors is extremely important. I want to pass it on to my daughter. And even if she doesn't grasp it, at least she would have been exposed to it at a young age, so she might fall back into it later in life the way that I did. There was a phase of my life I didn't even go outdoors. I didn't care about it. I was more about working out, you know, chasing girls, and then when that stopped, it was all about school, and that was all that mattered at that time. So, but I did take a survey. Also, I took a survey yesterday for the Washington State University. Go Dogs! I have to throw that in there. But they're doing a survey about, in order to hike in Washington State, I guess there's some people out there that are confused with the 3-pass system. And I know that sounds confusing to anyone who's not, you know, accustomed to how things are run in Washington State. There's the Discover Pass, which is this, and you use this to hike and access state parks like, you know, Dash Point or Flaming Geyser Park, and any of the hikes that are operated by the state. And then you have another one called the Northwest Forest Pass, and that one is primarily used for, I guess, the Forestry Service. And then there's another one that I also have, but it's in my wallet. It's the America the Beautiful Pass, and that one's an interagency. You can use it at any national park. So we have 2 national parks in Washington: the Olympic National Park and Rainier National Park. And I go to Mount Rainier a few times a year, especially in the wintertime, to do snowshoeing and to go up there for inner tubing and just kind of seeing things in the winter setting, see Rainier and all that in all its glory. So we use that. And so also it's time for me, if I ever go to another national park like Crater Lake, or if I go to Mount Shasta, it's not Mount Shasta, it's I forget which one's down there. But national parks along the way that I do end up going to, like Arches or Zion, that I've been through. I paid for all those, and so it's like at least for a year you have a pass that gets you into all those into all those parks. And the National Park Service is something that I support wholeheartedly, because I believe in preserving the natural beauty of this country and taking care of things and allowing our future children, children in the future, to see these things for what they are, and kind of remember that it's not about building and making money and businesses and all that. It's about, that we have beautiful scenery around us that we have a responsibility, a moral obligation to take care of. And I want to save it for my kid and my kids and their future kids and all that. I want it to be around forever. And so we have to do what we have to in order to take care of that. And paying for a pass is no big deal at all. It's the least of my worries. So I took a survey yesterday because they're thinking about taking those 3 passes and finding easier ways to fund them, and to maybe create one pass that covers all of them. Because right now it's in order for me to hike in Washington State, to get all 3 passes, and I use all 3 of them. I've already used all 3 of them this year, and it's $80 for the interagency for the America the Beautiful, or it's $25 at the gate. And I also have the Northwest Forest Pass, which is, I think it was like $35. and then the Discover Pass was $30. So that's $145 right there just for passes to access the outdoors and to use the trails and everything like that, and enter the national parks or the state parks, which I've also used this year. I went to Dash Point. And so it's like I use them often, and so to find a way to cover all three of them would be kind of cool. But at the same time, I think that there's an increasing number of people on the trails, and I've seen, everyone's talking about car thefts in the parking lots, and the sad reality of that is, people leave valuables in their car because they just want to go for a hike, and they do a lot of hiking on the I-90 corridor, which are, to be honest with you, those are the busiest hikes, the ones that I kind of steer clear from, especially during prime hours on the weekends and holidays when it's really bright out, and going hiking around 10 o'clock and coming back around 4 or 5 or 6. If you ever do hike on the I-90 corridor for anything that's off of I-90, the Snoqualmie region, try going as early as you can to just get on the hike, beat everybody else up, beat getting them up, get up sooner before all of them, and then you're back to your car by the time everyone starts rolling out. I like getting those trails done that soon, and it's all about, also you beat the heat that way, but if you do some other hikings, the hiking that you do, the further you go into the mountains or they go in the national parks, those are the ones you don't really have to worry about, because people that prowl on cars usually do it because they don't want to go too far off the trail or too far off a main road, and so I-90 corridor is perfect for them, and they like to hit people's vehicles on those big major hikes, as sad as that is. But a lot of the hiking, I would suggest, if you ever do go out, the most important thing is to just find a trail, do your research on Trailblazer. It's an iOS app put out by the Washington Trails Association, WTA, and then also if you use the interwebs, use the Washington State Trail Association website, and there's also the mountaineering books, which are for day hiking in Washington State in those specific regions. They will tell you which pass that you need to access those hikes. Sometimes you'll need a National Forest Pass, sometimes you'll need a Northwest Forest Pass, sometimes you'll need a Discover Pass. It's one of the three. And there are some on the peninsula, I believe it's Shai Beach in the Ozette Triangle, that you have to actually go get a pass through the Makah tribe, which because you are on reservation land, and so you have to there's a little grocery store that you pull into to buy that pass. I'm not sure how much it costs. It's not that much, but to do those trails on the beach, you have to go over tribal land, and so they do charge you a fee for a little pass. And I think that's the only one. There might be a couple others that you need specialized passes for, but that's the one that I know about personally because I've done it. So, whenever you do a hike, the thing is to make sure you do your research, know the starting points and the ending points, and read the report of the in detail description of the trail, because in those trails, in the description, it'll tell you when you come to a T at this point, it goes to this basin or it goes to this area, and you have to kind of know, you have to know the directions inside and out, or the back of your hand, or at least take your book with you, and don't get lost. Don't go off the trail and do something that, kind of get away from the crowds and do your own little thing on the side, because you might get lost unless you know how to navigate and use a compass and a topographical map. Make sure that you know the outdoors. Research your trail. Let people know that I'm leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning, and with driving distance to the trailhead, and then hiking all the way up and hiking all the way back, and taking in the fact that you might eat at the top, eat a lunch at the top of the mountain or whatever. Make sure you let people know the expected time the time that you expect to arrive, and let them know exactly what trail you're doing, the route that because sometimes there's more than one route to drive there. Make sure you tell them I'm driving this route to get to this trailhead. This is the GPS. Here are the GPS coordinates. I should be at the trailhead at this time. I should be coming back to my car around this time. And just let everyone know, or the closest people in your life, let them know what's going on, specific times and things of that nature. So if you do go missing, everyone's like, well, I heard he was hiking. Where was he hiking? I don't know. Somewhere out in Snoqualmie. There's hundreds of hikes out there. So, you go on the outdoors, it doesn't seem necessarily dangerous, because if there are other people on the trail, you should be okay. But when you do go out on the trail, even if it's a simple little hike, a simple little day hike, make sure you let people know where you're going, and make sure you let them know your times that you are there and any other plans you have afterwards, because it's very important for people to know where you are and where to find you if you do go missing. Because right now there is a woman who went on, I'm not sure if it was Little Si or Mount Si, but one of those two, and she went missing. And she's an experienced marathoner, ultra marathoner, so she's in shape, and she had a dog with her, and now she's missing. I'm not sure if they found her or not, but a simple little hike can turn into something, a search and rescue party for a few days. And it doesn't seem like it's dangerous, but it can be. So the thing is, do your research, know what pass you need first of all, because that's the easiest thing to figure out. Just figure out which pass you need and get all 3 of them right for right now, and then just keep them and bring them all 3 in your car. And if you don't know which one it is, just put all 3 of them in your window. And then make sure you do research on the trail itself. Know the starting points. Read the road reports, because sometimes there are washouts and there are closures for parking lots and certain mountain roads that blowovers where there's trees falling on the road, or if there's a washout, the road is closed because of that. Make sure you do your research. Read the trail reports. Know what other people have tried to access these trails and left reports to help other hikers out, and they're there for a reason. So make sure that you're looking at them and reading them and going into detail, knowing the inside and out of a trail. Because if you're not 100% comfortable about knowing the ins and outs of every single trail, you're setting yourself up for a potential dangerous situation, and something that could affect everyone else in your family if you get lost. There was a time when I went out to Montana for a week to hike and camp, and I ran across a bear. It wasn't a grizzly bear, but it was a black bear. It was big, and I'm just coming around a corner, and bam, it was right there, right in front of me. It was maybe 10 to 15 feet away. It scared the crap out of me, because how many times in your life do you really run across something that could easily just end your life if it wanted to? If it really wanted to, it could have ended my life. And that's a scary thing to become face to face with. But I was ready. My family knew that I was in Glacier National Park in Montana. They didn't know the specific hikes that I was doing. That was my fault. But at the same time, I was prepared. I had a gun, and I also had bear spray. And so I felt like I was prepared. And I'm more of an avid outdoorsman than a lot of people, so I wasn't really too concerned about it until I ran across a bear. So that's the thing. When you do hike in Washington State, make sure you have the Discover Pass, the Northwest Forest Pass, and the Interagency America the Beautiful Pass. Or if you only stayed one national park, get the Mount Rainier annual pass for $50, and I think the Olympic National Park's the same price, and you can access each one of them for $50 each. But what I say, just pay $80 and get the pass that gets in all of them. That just ends up saving time and money if you do plan to do some traveling. And you never know, someone might ask you, hey, you want to go to Moab and go to Arches National Park in Utah, and which is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And Utah is beautiful in general, but someone could say that, and it could be the trip of your life. And it's one of those times when people ask you to do stuff, and it's not what you would normally do, but those chances don't come along very often. And when you do get those opportunities, I would highly suggest you doing it, giving in to temptation and just doing it. So if you're hiking, get those passes. Make sure you do the trail reports. Read the Mountaineers books, the Day Hiking in Washington State. Find the particular region that hike is in, and reading up on the recent trail reports on the Washington Trails Association, WTA.org, and checking out the Trailblazer app on iOS. I'm not sure if it's on Android, but on iOS, and you can look up the trails, and it'll tell you the pass that you need, how to get to the trailhead, the GPS coordinates, basically everything on the WTA website's on the application. And there are other, I think there's one called Section Hiker It's another website. It's a forum where hikers exchange ideas. People lose stuff. They'll say, hey, I found a couple of trekking poles at this trailhead. I have them at this address. If you lost them, please contact me. So hikers are very honest people, and they're very good people, and it's a good community. And so, you know, if you do go hiking in Washington State, make sure you're planning ahead. Do your research. Let people know where you are. You know, and even if it's just a simple day hike, just tell somebody where you're going. And the off chance you slip and fall, something happens, you know, you don't return on time, then people will know to let other people know to come look for you, because it's important to not let a simple little thing as simply leaving a note or sending an email to a family member saying, I'm going on this hike at this date, at this time, to this place. I should be back at this time. Just saying something as simple as that could end up saving your life. And so plan ahead, do your research, inform other people, and just be smart on the trails. So here I've gone over 25 minutes. I'm going to end it here. You guys have yourselves a great Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow morning.